The $100 budget edition, Kentucky Downs Saturday of the Notorious OTB on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with code SGPN. Welcome, everybody, to the Notorious OTB, brought to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And folks, as always,
it's all good, baby. It was all a dream.
We used to read Blood Horse magazine. I got my Cuban link.
Yes, Cuban B.
And I'm your host, Chase Sessoms, the Wolf of Oaklawn.
I'd rather be trapped than lazy.
There it is.
Don't care what they say, I'ma do what they say.
It happens every year about this time. Weaklings act like they lost their mind. Alphas reclaim the neighborhood. Rob the sheep and all the wolves get good. Yo, if you were hustling, you know it.
Joining me as always, you might know him as the Michelangelo of the Crying Michael Jordan. He's your favorite capper's favorite capper, ladies and gentlemen, Barry, the sniper. Ooh, the benevolent time traveler sniper, Spears.
Hey, don't rub on that. You block that. You understand? That's alpaca. That's $25,000 alpaca. You block that shit. Right. You don't rubble. Put the club soda on there.
And Barry and I, we're not alone. We had to pick up around because we got guests. We did everything. We even vacuumed in the corners because joining us today, the man, the myth, the legend. You might know him from his work with the Daily Racing Form, Gino Buccola.
You know what? I'm the biggest star here, man. That's the way it is.
It's the way it is.
It's a fantastic Dirk Diggler pull right there, too. Absolutely. One of my all-time faves. And what I love about the show, Wolfie, is I've been on with you for years, many times. You and I have done a bunch of different shows, different forms of content. But your show now, it's like one of those exercises where they try to make you remember something and they keep adding to it. It's like a crazy game of telephone. If you looked at your show a couple years ago, what it was, now the intro, the clips that you add, bringing Barry on, the quality, the stream quality, it's like you're continuing to add on and improve your show all the time. You've done a great job, man.
Thank you. I mean, here's the most recent sound drop that I'm pretty proud of.
How, Sway? Take a few steps.
How, Sway?
Because sometimes you just need to know. Guys, we're going to be talking about Kentucky Downs. We don't have anything to recap from yesterday. Your boy's spine is not the best, and it was not cooperating yesterday. So, yeah, it wasn't spining at all. So we're back. Nothing to recap, but we do have the Thursday Big Show. That's right. It's once again the Thursday Big Show. And as is tradition, we're attacking a Saturday card with a $100 budget. We once again turn our attentions to everyone's favorite kidney Van Gogh ear-shaped undulating track. That's right. It's time to talk more Kentucky Downs, and we're attacking the card with a $100 budget. Let me pull up some past performances. Cheer. That's right. We're talking Kentucky Downs Saturday.
I got a clip for you, a new clip for you to add, just as you were talking about your spine. For any of the times that you're having one of those issues, Shallow Hal, there's a clip where Jack Black is talking about the one guy. He goes, dude, he's got spina bifida. It's like you gotta get that clip for whenever you're having one of those flare-ups, and you can just play it and be like, dude, he's got spina bifida, and the guy's crawling around on all fours. Yeah,
I've got the Mike Tyson on tap for that.
Spinal.
I broke my back.
Yeah,
spinal. Yeah, that's the part that he broke, the spinal. But all right. Post time for this Kentucky Downs card is going to be 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. God's time, 9:30 a.m. specific time. And if you're not familiar, we can play any race, any wager type, whatever makes that cash money, as long as we keep it within that $100 budget. Barry, you are going to be kicking us off today. There we go. Barry, your first play is coming out of race 3, where you've got a daily double, 8 furlongs, $190,000. Not winners of one something. Allowance, and all these races are, of course, on the turf. What are you doing here, Bear?
Yeah, I wanted to try to take a shot early in this card to see what we can come up with. I thought this race was sort of wide open. You know, you get these young, improving types coming off layoffs and such. So we have a group of those type of horses here. I'm going to use 3 in a $5 daily double. I'm going to use the 4 State of Joy. Primarily, I'm using this horse because of the fact this horse ran overseas in Ireland at Down Royal. Won a race with 14 horses in it. It's got to count for something. So we're going to go with that. And I thought it was also interesting that Louis Saez lands here on State of Joy instead of the 1 Love You Anyway, who's 9-2 on the morning line. And he was riding that horse a little bit regularly. So ends up with the Eddie Keneally horse. So we're going to try that one. We're also going to use the 6 Classy and Connected. I think they were really trying to get this horse on the turf. The first time on the turf ran really good. Arguably this horse's best race. Gets back to the turf, and I think the improvement is imminent. And we're also going to use the 8 Grayley for the same reasons. Seems that the horse likes the turf. Came off a small layoff from March to June, the end of June actually. Was out wide in that turf race at 1 1/8 miles at Churchill, and ran on, beat more than half the field. Came back in an off the turf event at Ellis and kind of dominated that event. And I don't think this horse is really a speed horse. I think this horse can do whatever. And I think the switch to the turf is a very good thing. And the morning line odds are a very good thing at 15-1. So we're going to use the 8 Grayley as well.
And you're rolling it into 4, race 4 to finish up your daily double. 6.5 furlongs, 22,000. Non-winners is something. I'm not here to read your fucking conditions. Allowance on. Well, I'm going to keep saying on the turf every single time, just because I'm a creature of habit, Barry. On the turf, the 4th race. How are you finishing up your double?
Yeah, I had fits with myself and fighting with myself about this selection of the 2 horses here, because I really wanted to select one, and that would be the 9 Love Cervere. I really like this horse. I like this horse in this spot in particular because of the distance and the way that the configuration at Kentucky Downs. I think that really favors a horse like Love Cervere. And the running style, this horse should be running him down late. Hopefully not too far back, because at least from what I've seen from the races there, you can't really close from too far back. You want to kind of be up close. So being up close in that final turn is probably where it's at. So hopefully they can get that. I think Rosario can do it. I should have singled this horse, but I didn't, because I would lose sleep if I didn't include the 7 horse She's Got Will. For the fact that, and Gino will tell you this, that I love these sort of horses that come off a layoff from 2 to 3, improve buyer speed figures, getting Lasix, makeover package, Mark Casse, Dylan Davis. This has all the markings of a horse that's going to run excellent on Saturday. And at 10-1, I couldn't leave this horse out. So we're going to use the 7 and the 9.
It's funny you remember things too. She actually lost to a horse named Mayday Ready, who Barry touted a couple times really early on in her career when she won the Juvenile Fillies at Kentucky. She won the Grade 2 Jessamine. She was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. So when you see races with Mayday Ready and the form is right there through that horse and not beating a whole lot, those are quality races. And the other horse that Barry was using, the 9, Love Cervere, we've played a few times. And Wolfie, isn't it always the gambler that you remember the bad spots? She had a brutal trip when she lost to Nitrogen. She just missed that day too. She was getting down on the inside, and then she moved up and she looked like she was going to win, and Nitrogen just sort of came and got her. And we know how good Nitrogen has been since then. So that's a very nice filly as well.
There you go. And I'll always say, don't raw dog these races without the Rosario rubber. Gotta make sure you get it. Will crush Souls, real quick before we hit Barry's next daily double, our free roll football contest is back. It's free to enter, and you're picking every NFL game against the spread. $3,000 in first place, $4,000 if you're a Patreon of sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. Plus, we got 25% off everything in the merch store. Promo code football. Make sure to check out the Notorious OTB merch. I made it all, and it's all awesome, so you should buy it. And we got our own NFL Survivor contest. $100 entry fee, winner take all. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Barry, let's hit race 5. 8 furlongs, $170,000 maiden special weight, and it's on the turf. What are you gonna do, Barry?
Yeah, we're gonna start a $10 daily double this time from race 5 into 6. I'm using 2 horses here. The 5 Playa Azul Blue Beach. This horse just didn't really get going that well in the beginning of that race at Gulfstream on the synthetic, and I looked at it race a few times, and I felt that this horse ran pretty good enough to think that this horse would probably improve in this spot. Not to mention the fact that they're shipping up from Gulfstream without any turf races under their belt to run in this spot, $170,000 maiden. It's a curious position, and it's almost like the "why are you here" angle. And we're going to try to take advantage of that, especially at the morning line of 15-1. But somehow I think this horse is going to get bet down a little bit.
Barry, you've got like the dirtiest of dirty pig boy angles. Not only do you have coming off the synthetic, but you got trouble last out.
Little pig boy.
Could I get the definition?
Little pig boy. He's that pathetic, dirty bitch baby mistress gets the stand up.
Yeah, all the stats line up too. You know, second time out, this barn does pretty good, and I'm very curious to see how this horse runs. I like this horse's chances quite a bit. And then we're also going to use the 8 Crimson Knight. I like the stretch out on August 8th. Real big improvement by her speed figure wise. This horse should take to the turf. Again, like I said before, being up close to the pace is probably where you want to be. I think Crimson Knight's going to be in that kind of spot. This race in general isn't screaming out a whole bunch of turf monsters or anything like that. So I think these 2 horses have a actually more than reasonably good chance to win this race. There's really a bunch of nondescript horses in a high purse race, which is a little odd, but we'll go with the 5 and the 8.
There we go. And you roll that into race 6 where you wrap up your daily double. What is this? 10.5 furlongs, 1 mile and 5/16. The Light and Wonder Ladies Marathon Invitational for the big money, $2 million. How are you closing out this final double?
Yeah, we're going to single.
Oh.
Single.
Here we go.
Yes, I'm singing. I want to mingle.
You want to mingle?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to single. So we're going to single number 8, Miwa. I think this horse is going to fall into an exceptionally good trip, given that there's some speed inside of her, and she can slide right behind them and kind of coast and get the trip of a lifetime here. She's proven that she's already likes Kentucky Downs and this trip. She won a mile and 5/16 race here on August 28th, going away by 7. She is ready. So we're gonna single Miwa to the hoop. Hopefully get that 4-1. If we get that 4-1, I think this is gonna pay pretty good.
Barry taking that one to the hoop.
I love Duncan, guy. What are you talking about?
Love Duncan.
He loves Duncan. All right, I've got to play also in race 6, but real quick, got to get a word in from our good friends at MyBookie.ag because we are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Also, we're brought to you by the good nerds at Rhythm because the NFL is back on Rhythm. Last season, Rhythm was 76-66 against the spread and 22-19 on over-unders. Really shined on player props. For example, 15-8 on Josh Allen passing props. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA, golf, and college football. And Rhythm has introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. Get your 7-day free trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And if you excuse me, I need to get a brief rehydration interlude in. While I do that, watch the replay of a Kentucky Downs stretch run. For that, we all know how it goes. All right, we're back, and what are we doing? Barry and I are giving out free
and I
picks.
make nothing, zero, zilch. By the time I pay all my scientists, all my people in my research department, lab coats, it's a wash. Well, why you do it then, baby Billy? Well, because I'm selfless.
Also, speaking of selfless, the Daily Racing Forum is pretty selfless because they've got some new free tools that they've been rolling out. Gino, why don't you tell the folks about the new tools?
That was well played there with that transition. Absolutely love that.
Thank
yeah,
you.
couple things that we've got going on right now. DRF AI. So it's a brand new tool, so it's still got some bugs here and there, but we want all of you to test it out because the more people test it out, the more traffic we get, the better it's going to get. We're adding more things to it. That's at chat.drf.com. I like to ask the simple things like I'm looking for prices a lot of the time. So I'll do my handicapping, but then if I'm looking at the card for this weekend, I'll ask it, hey, can you find in the late pick 5 some horses that are 10-1 and above that could win the race? And it'll give me like 2 horses in each race that it thinks are 10-1 shots. And a lot of the times they're not even on my radar. They're not even horses that I looked at. So that's what I think is really helpful. It's also right now very nice for the new players, which is kind of one of the other tools that we have. It's called DRF Newbie. That one is for your mobile. So use it on your phone. Newbie, NEWBIE.drf.com. I'm sure we've all brought our friends to the track. And when they look at the racing form, sometimes the past performances, it's overwhelming for them, right? Like that's a lot for somebody who's never been there. They're like, what do all these numbers mean? It's too much. But what's cool about the Newbie product, it's on your phone. It's a lot of like graphs and visual with colors. It'll show you like projectors. You can see who's going to be the early pace, and it ranks horses by the fastest early pace. Then you can see the late pace. You can see jockey ratings. You can see trainer ratings. Kind of simplifies it for some of the newer players, and then makes it a little bit easier for them to want to dive in and to look for a little bit more. So both of these are new. The more that you all test it out, the better it's going to be for us. And if you're testing it out and you ever find out an issue or a bug, let us know. Send DRF customer service an email or let me know particularly, because we're just wanting to get these fine-tuned. I think they are great for new people, for new audiences, for folks that just don't know a whole lot about horse racing. And then I'll squeeze in one more for you. That's not any kind of a in competition with your show here. It's a podcast that we started that's not gambling at all, really. It's just stories for people involved in horse racing, because I see so many of the jockeys and trainers' names, and like I've never talked to them, and I don't know anything about them. And all of a sudden today, I had a conversation with Emma Jane Wilson, who is the leading money earner in history for a female rider. She passed Julie Crone last year, and she was talking about like having interest in falconry. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Like all of a sudden, like now I see her name and I'm going to think about that, you know. And we talked with Kendrick Carmouche a couple weeks ago, who was so awesome. And
I caught some of that. That was a really good one.
He was like so honest and upfront and talking about how, you know what, like I went to Parks and it was a good place for me to like work on my craft. I wasn't ready to go to New York yet. If I would have gone earlier, I would not have succeeded. And we waited and I was successful there. He said I had to go to Charlestown and I learned about judging biases on racetracks because of that bull ring. And I had to be quick out of the gate, and just really refreshing conversation. So check that out anywhere you get your podcasts or on the Daily Racing Forum YouTube. It's good like handicapping background noise while you're handicapping and like looking at a card, and you hear a story for 45 minutes or an hour about some of these really great folks in horse racing. So give it a listen or a watch if you get a chance.
Absolutely. Check that out. And also, what I like about the newbie thing is how do you make non-data people into data people? You put it in pictures. That's the best way to. Something I learned in my corporate life. Some of y'all might be thinking you had a corporate life. Really? Yeah. It shocks me too. Here we go. My plays start in race 6, this $2 million ladies marathon invitational. I'm playing a $15 win on number 3 Beach Bomb. And I'm also going to play a $5 exacta 3 with the 411. So let's get one thing out of the way before I get into the meat of the why I made these picks and my picks on the rest of the card. What we've seen, and I think Barry's mentioned it so far at Kentucky Down, it's horses that are on the lead or damn near it whenever they're exiting the turn into the home stretch that is approximately 2 weeks long and requires 2 cameras to cover. It's those horses that are going through and winning. And there's very much been a speed and even somewhat of an inside speed bias thus far from what I can deduce. So I'm looking for horses that are going to be in the mix at the top of the stretch call and might potentially be getting like rail trips. So I got that here with the horse I'm choosing to win bet for 15, the number 3 Beach Bomb. In for Grand Motion has Luis Saez up. I get Luis sitting the stalking trip up close to the pace, biding time on the rail behind the number 10 Grand Morella, who's just not fast enough to win this race. And the 11 Nomo Candy at 6-1, who's carrying extra weight here. And by extra weight, what I mean is IRAD on a speed horse. That might as well be like a 20-pound addition there, imposition, sorry. Beach Bomb, South African horse who won in Group 1 races at Kenilworth and acquitted himself quite well shipping to the U.S. about a year ago. I like seeing that this horse has either won second off the layoff or increased her speed figure the other 2 times she's been second off the layoff in the States. I think a step forward here or even matching the figure that Beach Bomb put up in the New York Stakes at Saratoga during the Belmatoga Racing Festival would make her a clear winner. And I'm counting on Luis to get her up in a good position. And if the rail opens in front of her in the stretch, I think she's gone. Motion's been putting routine drills at 5 furlongs on the work tab and then a 4 furlong leg stretcher before this race, which is a work pattern I love to see. And I'm pressing this with an exacta in the same race. I'm going to key Beach Bomb over the 4 Spanish Eyes at 7-2 with my man Ben Curtis up, but should be moving later. And I think is more of a stretch runner. I like that underneath for that reason. And then I'm also using the 11 No Mo Candy because I think that this is the speed that you end up chasing down late. And I have a feeling that IRAD will let everyone else catch up to him. I think this one is competitive, but I do think the Beach Bomb chases them down. The way the speed has been carrying, I definitely want this one underneath. So I'm playing the $15 win on the number 3 Beach Bomb and a $5 exacta 3 with the 411. Gino.
Before we move to my 7th race for the 4, Barry knows I like that horse. I played this horse last time too, Spanish Eyes. And I think it's a great spot because she was chasing that lone speed, basically 2 races in a row. She just had no shot and she's run really well. And for some reason, anytime this horse runs, I picture the scene from Superbad with Michael Cera. These eyes are crying. These eyes are seeing. And everyone's sitting there just jamming out on him, like just drugged out of their minds as he's going off. So yeah, love this horse in this spot. I think was going to run really, really well. Just didn't get the race shape the last couple times. And shout out to Michael Cera because that's a fantastic movie, one of the best comedies of the last 30 years or so.
Noted viewer of the Notorious OTB, Michael Cera. So from your lips to his ears. All right. Gino, you get to break the seal here in race 7, 8 furlongs, $2.5 million. The Mint Millions Invitational. I love it when people get exotic, not just in their dancing, but in their wagering. And you are doing just that here with a trifecta. What do you got?
Yeah, I will say I do not envy Nick Tamero, I believe, who makes the morning line at Kentucky Downs. That is like with horses coming from everywhere, overseas, different tracks. Then the logical horses that just don't fire and stuff. Like it's very difficult. One horse who I think is going to get bet down a little bit in this race, though, from the morning line is Brilliant Birdie, the 7, right? Yeah, and that's the horse who initially I was looking at the race and I was like, if she gets bet down, I don't want to play her on the win end because it might be. I think problems sometimes with horses like this where she's such a good looking price on paper that if she was just like 5-1, there probably wouldn't even be as much of an overreaction. But because she's 8-1, you might get everybody like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get 8-1 on her. And then she opens up at 3-1, right? Something along those lines wouldn't shock me. But I think she's logical. I think she fits really well. She's proven at Kentucky Downs. She's pretty versatile too. She used to be a horse who just wanted to come from way, way out of it. And more recently, they've shown they can be closer. I don't think she wants to be on the lead. That was when she lost in the Arlington. And I think she kind of got like a little confused when she was out on the front end there. But she can just be placed closer in races, which I think that shows maturity, that shows development. And I always love seeing horses that are able to do that. And they can just have they can have options for their riders. They can win in different ways. So I'm going to use her on top in a trifecta, but I'm going to use one other horse along with her in the top spot, because this might just be one of those horse for courses for Goliad, who is freaky fast, gets the inside draw, and is stretching out from a race down the hill. So that speed is probably going to be sharpened up a little bit. And Pratt just knows to go. They won this race last year coming back off of a 6-day layoff. This is just, she's a real, or she, I say he, is a very quirky kind of horse. He's the type of horse who courses like this just make sense. When he's able to get out front and a lot of horses aren't taking to this deep turf course, he just starts to cruise. So I get a little bit nervous turning for home if I didn't have him in some way, shape, or form, because there are versions of this race where he just gets loose. I do think Brilliant Birdie is the kind of the best horse right now, moving in the right direction. So those are the two I'm going to use on top. And then, Chase, I'm going to try to get a bunch of prices in underneath. I'll play it as a 50-cent try just for the bankroll purposes, because it's only $20 and it gives me like another swing in another race. I'll probably play this for $1 because it would only be $40, but I'll use the 1 and the 7 in the top spot. And then after that, I'll use a lot of horses who I think will run well, could hit the board. Cairo always hits the board, just didn't really get very great race shape last time out and a little bit of trouble. We'll also include the 5 Spirit of St. Louis, who's kind of tailed off form, but as far as hitting the board, he has some of the better races in here. So if he were to bounce back, he could certainly run 2nd or 3rd in here, and what would be a better price than he's been recently. I throw the 7 Brilliant Birdie I have with the 1 and the 7 on top. We just talked about those two. And then towards the outside, a couple others that I'll be including. The 12 Beach Gold, who is really sharp right now for Patrick B. and Cohn. And I actually talked with Andy B. and Cohn on one of those interviews about this horse. She's worked with him, and I believe her fiance Keith Asmussen was aboard last time out, getting the big victory. So Beach Gold, I don't know if is quite good enough to win a race like this, but I definitely want to have in the 2nd and 3rd spots. And then Langnos is one of those horses that was so good at Kentucky, and the connections are like, hey, let's just wheel right back and see if we can take advantage of all this big money. So I put the 1 and 7 on top. Maybe Goliad gets the lead. Maybe Brilliant Birdie is just too good for this field. And then a lot of logical horses, a couple prices in the under spots. $20 for a 50-cent trifecta.
Every time I see the name Omaha Beach on the top line of the pedigree, all I can ever think is it should have been you. Should have been you, Omaha Beach.
I know.
But Bob Baffert stole your epiglottis and you couldn't run. Barry, you have got action also in race 7 with the win bet. What are you doing? You thinking the same thing as Gino?
Not really, because Gino seems to like a horse like Goliad, and I do not. Just because of the fact that this horse didn't run really as much as they did last year coming into this race. I know it's only 2 races difference, but she seemed to be, or she.
I know. Why do that too? I do that same thing. I know. I do the same thing.
He seems
Gelding,
to be
so
coming into this last year's race in better form. That's my only concern with Goliad, and that actually kind of segues into the horse that I used. I'm going to use a $20 win bet on number 9, Point Linus, with Frankie Dettori up. I think this horse is going to be forwardly placed. If you go through this horse's races, they like to be close up, and I don't think they're going to be like on the engine. I mean, Frankie can certainly, I'm sure, get this horse on the lead, but I think he's going to be right off of the lead. and that might be the perfect spot. This horse's time form ratings rival anybody that's running in the U.S. right now. So I think this horse stands a really good shot. Might be flying a little bit under the radar because you have horses like Laganos who like this track, proven over this track. Same thing with Goliad, should take some money. I thought Major Dude might take a little bit of money. So there's a chance that Point Linus kind of flies slightly under the radar, and we'll get close to that 8-1.
There we go. Well, guys, I have a play here in race 7 also, and it's only a horse that you guys have mentioned in passing. It's going to be the number 2 Major Dude, because I'm going to keep it simple.
I like that we're all a little separate here. We got like a Royal Rumble in this race. You know,
I don't know if there's any other way to do that at Kentucky Downs. It's just hit your pocket to a rocket and try to just hope for the best. So with Major Dude, keeping it simple. I'm using my biggest win bet of the day for Todd Pletcher and Spendthrift with Johnny V. I'm seeing a pretty swift early pace here. Major Dude is going to be saving ground at the rail behind the early speeded Goliad, Cairo, Point Linus, Epic Ride. So Major Dude has the pace set up, which is good because he tends to come up short when paces get slow in front of him. He's been keeping very good company and scratched out of a race at Monmouth to start here. And I think he's got the tactical speed to put himself in an advantageous spot in the race shape. Winners have been coming from, best as I can tell, all meet. So I'm keeping it no muss, no fuss. 25 to win on the number 2 Major Dude. Gino, we're rolling into race 8, and you're going to lead us off here because you've got a win bet here in race 8. The Gun Runner, $2 million going 8 furlongs. What are you doing here?
So a lot of these races on Saturday, horses in these fields all have high ceilings, but they're not all coming into the races like in the best form all currently. Yeah. And this is another one where I liked New Century last year quite a bit, but the horse has been facing good company, kind of tailed off a little bit. I think Giacoso is a really honest horse who may have fired his big shot just last time. That was a good effort from him. It was a big win, and I liked him that day. Looking through the rest of the field, Layabout is in really nice form. We'll be stepping up a bit in here. The one I think makes a little bit of sense for Sadler, just a new face. Clever again on the grass again. Not really sure what to do with. The horse who's very solid on the grass that I came back to is going to be a big price in here. Is the number 6, Plensa. Now, I don't know if it'll be 30 to 1, which I think this horse is on the morning line, but overall, this horse has done very little wrong on the grass. You look at the first couple starts in 2024, last year, second in very good races, was actually in front of Final Gambit in one of those races, was right behind next out winner Geometry. Maui Strong is a horse that we've seen in stakes races and we've talked about before. Off for a few months, shows back up in a maiden special weight at Keeneland, a race that's very live. World Beater was in that race. And World Beater is now a grade 1 winner. Couple months off, then finally breaks the maiden. That's at Churchill Downs, comes back in a very strong race on July the 18th at Saratoga. It finishes 3rd that day. The winner, Simulate, you actually see, finished right behind Giacosa in the Secretariat. So while that wasn't a graded stakes race, the winner of that race went on to finish 2nd in a graded stakes race right after that. So you know that was a good race. The 2nd place finisher, 13 Colonies, is actually entered in the grade 3 Old Dominion Derby this weekend at Colonial and looks like a major player in there. So I love when horses come out of strong allowance races like this, Chase and Barry, because people don't think they're as tough because they don't say graded stakes on them or they don't have a stakes on there. But when you know the horses and what those horses have done, that was a really good race that Plensa comes out of, finishing 3rd. And those top 2 horses in that race were way ahead of him early in the race and just got the jump. Now 3rd start of the form cycle for a horse who continues to trend forward. I think this is a sneaky horse in here. My only concern would be that when you think, we talk about this with Irad and slightly different. When you think about certain jockeys, you like any baseball player, basketball player. They have tendencies, things that are their strengths and things that are their weakness. When you think about Florent Giroux, you think about going to the lead more than coming from way, way out of it. But he has been on this horse before with success. He's been on this horse 3 times with a win and a couple seconds. So he does seem to have a really good feel for this particular horse. And I think this guy's going to be a really fair price. 20 to win for me on a big price.
There we go. He's throwing bombs here with what I'm dubbing the Geo Flow with George Arnold and Florent Giroux. We'll see if it's as strong as the Flo Cox. Barry, race 8. You got a win bet here. What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I had the similar idea as Gino, but I went to a different horse. I'm placing my $15 win bet on number 2, Native Runner. Now, this horse, when they put this horse on turf, he really perked up. And he came back in a stake race in the American Derby in June and ran a bang-up race that day, lost to Minaret Station. Then was favored in the Ellis Park preview of the Dueling Ground Derby. Dueling Ground Derby's preview, I think that is, right?
Yeah. It's a mouthful.
Got off slow, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Got off slow and just really didn't have a shot. Tried to kind of circle the field and just didn't get an opportunity. Lands in this spot, and I think the inside draw will force this horse to kind of get in the action early and be right there. I don't see anybody that's monstrous in this race that anybody would be scared of, or anybody that overwhelms this field. And I think you can tell that by the horses that we've selected.
Yeah, absolutely.
A 30 to 1 and a 20 to 1. The one could be any kind of horse. We just don't know. Stuck on the rail, not the greatest of things. And those horses typically don't break fast. So I want to play against horses like that. So we'll give Native Runner a try. $15 win bet. Let's go.
Yeah, I think the horse that was 3rd in the American Derby, you were talking about, Freedom's Not Free, just came back again the other day and was 2nd in the Del Mar Derby, just missed. So that's a good race. Those horses are solid that have been coming back and running well.
I think I got a good idea of what Gino or Barry will look like if their horse is leading in the stretch there at Kentucky Downs.
Hopefully we'll have the exacta.
Yeah. Oh, that would be huge. I got to play just a $2 box just for. Yeah.
I'm in. Fuck it. Let's go. All right. Real quick. Got to get a word in from our good friends at Underdog, because Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog also has a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by our new friends at Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig is available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. If you excuse me, I need to get yet another rehydration interlude. In.
What? So is there a competitor named No Juice?
Was there a competitor named what?
No Juice?
No Juice? That'd be nice. It would be nice. All right. Gino, race 9. You've got another win bet. The Music City, a grade 2, $2 million, 6.5 furlongs. What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, this is a horse who I was a big fan of last year, Pondering, the number 7. So she wins her career debut and she goes into the grade 1 spinaway in her second start, and just muddy track, doesn't really fire. She's only 5 to 1. Comes back again in her third start, tries grade 1 company again in the Frizette, just basically eased in that race. It was when Scottish Lassie crushed, and she's off for a few months. And then She loses her rider in back-to-back races, which is just bizarre. You could just tell she tailed off of form. She ran in okay. She faced this horse Stable Currency, and she finished 4th on the dirt. They flipped her to the turf, and her first start on the turf was okay. She finished 4th. But the second time on the grass, it's like she's just been a completely different horse now in those 3 races since. And I remember that this has been a classy filly all along. And like one thing in horse racing, in particular at the horse like this, you always start out wanting and hoping for the best. You hope to be a horse that can win graded stakes races and go 1.25 miles and win the Breeders' Cup Classic or the Distaff or the Oaks or the Derby, right? But not every horse is, that's not going to happen. And then you start to figure out, who are you really? Because most horses aren't going to say, yep, we're a turf sprinter, right off the bat. Most trainers or connections or owners, but there's nothing wrong with being a really good turf sprinter. It's just a place where you kind of end up after some trial and error. And look at how good she's been sprinting in her last couple of races. Just fantastic. The race when she lost to Maytown, that's a really sharp horse too that she ends up losing to in that race. So I'm looking at her overall form. I think she's moving in the right direction. They seem like they found something with her. They've kind of taken her back, grabbed a hold, and they're just making one late run now. And it's just working really, really well. I think she might fly a bit under the radar because on paper, you kind of gravitate to a couple other horses first. You know, Kilwin is super obvious. She's really classy. I think she's absolutely the horse to beat. I don't like She's So Spicy in here because I'm worried about the 6.5 on this turf course being a little bit beyond She's So Spicy's range, what really she wants to do. I think with Chloe, She's So Spicy, Jungle Peace, She's a Funky Dancer to the outside, all of those horses are really fast. And if there's just combinations of a couple of them pushing the pace, could set up really well for a horse like Pondering. I'm going to play the 7. I've got 20 to win on the 7 Pondering.
There we go. Race 9, a win bet for Gino on Pondering. It's my turn again, guys. We're on to race 10, 6.5 furlongs, $2 million. The Franklin Simpson Stakes. It's a grade 1. I'm going to be playing a $15 win on the number 2 Troubleshooting at 6-1 here. And then I'm also going to play $5 exacta 2 with the 7-9. Troubleshooting has the ability to rate and is going to get plenty of speed to run into in this turf sprint. Someone alert Matthew Sanders. I think a sprint race is going to break down. Troubleshooting is going to use the tactical speed to either take the lead when they enter the stretch or be within about a length. And it may be a reason for the good price in the spot. But unlike many of these stakes horses, Troubleshooting appears to have been raced into shape with no published works from June 27th until August 28th and had 2 races in between those 2 drills. When I see a horse that's been raced into shape like this one, I want to make sure that there's an improvement in speed figures in the races between the works. And I have that here. I've got steadily improving figures from 78 to an 87 to a 89. Once again, I'm going to press this, my opinion with this exacta. And I would put Troubleshooting on top over 2 speed horses I think fade due to the torrid pace and due to the fact that they might be hung a little wide. With the number 7, Governor Sam at 4-1 with Irad. Now, this is the kind of horse that I do like Irad on. And, you know, I'm also going to take the 9, Me Bago at 10-1 with Pratt up. So I'm playing the Time Lord total, a $15 win on the number 2 Troubleshooting, and that was a $5 exacta 2 with the 7-9. Gino, I feel like you might want to get spicy. Some might say exotic in this one. I do want to get a little exotic. I was very impressed with the 8 Spiced Up most recently winning that day. Now, and I think this is a horse who will get bet a bit in this race because if you just look at his overall form, it's pretty good. He's kind of turned the corner most recently on the grass. Both of those are victories. He's now going to go 3rd start of the form cycle. He's only making his 3rd start as a 3-year-old. And oh yeah, we know these connections of Junior Alvarado and Bill Mott this year, very popular. So I think he's logical. And he beat Governor Sam last time. And that's a really good measuring stick because Governor Sam had been kind of one of the top turf sprinters in this division with these horses, with this group of horses. But I am a little bit worried about Governor Sam going this 6.5
that extra furlong on this type of turf course. There have been a few times in his career when it maybe seemed like it was a little too long for him. So the horse who I actually like, and this is an angle I play a lot at Santa Anita with horses that are coming down the hill. I love when the horses coming down the hill or going 6.5 furlongs are cutting back from races at a mile. Just the fitness that they have. And in particular, it's not like a template, but I do like when horses have shown tactic, like positional speed, right? They can sit close. They can be involved in the race. And then you're going to cut back, give them a little bit more punch, more late finish. That leads me to the number 5, Antisocial, who's just in really nice form right now. And another one that's maybe flying under the radar, exits that grade 2 Secretariat. And I like those groups of horses. I've talked about Simulate. I talked about Giacoso, and one of the horses that in the last race was a play that was coming out of a race behind them. I think that's good form. And I think those particular horses might be a little better than their speed figures would suggest, just based on watching them and seeing them compete with each other and then others in the division. So give me the 5 Antisocial cutting back, and the 8 Spiced Up. Those are the top 2 for me. I'm going to play them in the first spot of a trifecta. 5-8 with others that I throw in. The 2 who Chase mentioned, Troubleshooting, I think is very, very logical. The 4 Dream On, that's a horse cutting back to 6.5, and kind of a horse who's not necessarily going to come from way, way out of it, but will probably have a stronger finish here at 6.5. I mentioned the 5 Antisocial. We went through that one. The 8 Spiced Up, went through that one. And then the 9, Mibago, who Chase, you also pointed out. These horses that have speed, you're getting to cut back a little bit. Mibago could fit this turf course very, very well, cutting back from a mile to 6.5. So I wanted to use those horses in the under spot with 5-8 on top. It was a $24 ticket for my $1 trifecta here.
There we go. God, those 4s, they're hard to get around. Then you have to like figure out, okay, where do I add the hanging dollar onto some of these other bet amounts? Listen, it's not just $100 budget show. It's like a Sudoku puzzle.
It's like a puzzle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Barry, you're in the next one. The penultimate 12 furlong, $2.5 million, the grade 2 Kentucky Turf Cup Invitational. Did you guys get your invitation? I didn't. Barry,
an Evite. I got an Evite.
Oh, okay. Still muted. Where'd you go, bud? Come on. You still want to talk to us, right?
I think.
Come on, buddy. There he is.
Here is the StreamYarding.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been doing that the last few days, I will say. Yeah.
I will say, just quick thing. Every time I see the name Divine Propos, they're in one. I see. Yeah, I see Divine Poo-Poos every single time I read that. So I do the double take. Go ahead, Barry. What are you doing with your win bet?
Yeah, with my $15 Time Lord amount win bet, I'm going to select number 7, Utah Beach. And it's funny, we got a couple of horses in Kentucky Downs this weekend that me and Gino covered quite a bit. Utah Beach is one of them.
Yep.
Had this horse at Keeneland and at Churchill in the Louisville grade 3. And then the horse kind of went off form a little bit. But the last race against El Cordobas was pretty decent. Really didn't get a chance to run and kind of shook loose a little too late. But as far as the distance goes, this horse really loves this distance. And that's where this play is really coming from. A lot of these horses kind of like the distance, but I know Utah Beach loves this distance straight up. The only problem is you got to get this horse in the race early. Rosario needs to get this horse into the race at least in striking distance at the top of the stretch, which he can certainly do. This horse
horses
run
like
well.
this, Barry, like, can you just not be dead last and
Right,
have to
that's
pass
it.
every single horse? Can you be
That's
in
it.
front of 2 or 3 horses when you start your rally so you're just not trapped behind everyone? It's not asking them to be on the lead or anything, but just don't have to do everything in the stretch,
That's it. Yeah. Don't go to dead last. I get it. You want to be clear and everything, but don't be dead last. That's the worst thing you can do, Mr. Rosario. So don't do that. But speed figure wise, pace wise, everything kind of sets up for this horse. I mean, he's right there. 6-1 is a good price if we can get it. I think we will. I think a lot of these horses are going to be really close in odds. A lot of between
like
4-1 to 8-1.
Agreed.
A lot of that in there. I think the favorite might even be 5-2 in this spot.
There we go. Well, Barry's hanging his hat on Utah Beach. To see this one be like an Omaha Beach, but it makes sense with the English channel. Remember, I'm a dad, so I know everything about World War II. That's kind of how that happens. As soon as your child is born, you watch every single World War II documentary. Well, Barry, I've got the last of my $100 here in race 11. You kind of mentioned everyone's going to be the 4-1 to 8-1 kind of range here. I'm playing a $15 win on the number 10 Corruption at 6-1. And then I'm going ice cold in my exacta 10 with the 5 because I smells loose horse. And I smells loose horse that I'm not sure will get a win at the distance with the 5 Mercanti heading for the lead in this race. And no one out there really kind of pressing him. While Mercante has the turf pedigree on the bottom line and the pedigree for the distance, he's yet to show that he can win at this sort of marathon turf distance. But with the early running style, I'm going to take the chance using him underneath in the ice cold exacta. And then the 10 Corruption should be sitting right behind the speed of Mercante and easily make a pass at Mercante here as he starts to falter in the final furlongs. And Mark Cassidy puts Corruption in after winning the tune-up for this race and $100,000 optional claimer going 11 furlongs in the win. Cassie's had this one really firing this year after coming off what I call the Todd Pletcher witness protection angle. Whenever Todd stashes them away somewhere in Phoenix and gives them another identity and a job at a pizza place, they come back and they usually tend to fire. There might not be another turf marathoner as hot as Corruption right now, as he's won 5 of the 7 starts this year. And one of those losses was by a neck, and the other was the excuse of a slow start. So once again, Corruption to the hoop.
I love Duncan, guy. What are you talking about?
So
Gino,
I have a play hit on Mercante. Yeah, I want to hit on Mercante for a sec too, because I probably was the reason why Mercante didn't win his last race. I picked the fantasy league. I drafted him because he was in sharp, really good form. He was actually supposed to run in a race at Churchill in the Wise Dan at the end of June. He was pointing to that race. You can kind of see when you look at his work pattern. So he works on June the 21st, but right before the race, they scratched him. And Connection said, I just didn't really think he was at his best form right now. And then you see the gap in the work pattern a little bit. So there's nothing from June 21st till July the 12th. So a couple of weeks off. Shows back up July 12th, July 19th, July 26th. I'm not surprised he was a little bit short in that race in August, missing the time, one. And I think the mile and a half he hasn't proven, but I think he's like a mile and an eighth-er, a little bit more than a mile, because it's not as sharp for him. I think he's just going to run way better in here. So just don't be shocked with him, because now what ended up happening, we had our last round of our fantasy draft on August 29th. He hadn't worked, so I dropped him. And he worked on August 30th. Right? So I had been on the wrong side of this horse. I picked him. He was supposed to run. He doesn't end up running because they don't think he's doing as well. And then when he does run, he runs 4th. Then I drop him, and now he's going to come back and win for sure. So just we'd all know this when it comes to fantasy stuff. You got to handicap yourself. I've used him in the second spot though, because Chase, I did exactly what you did in here but in a slightly different way. I put Corruption on top, but I'm trying to get trifectas out of it. I'm going to single the 10 on the win end and then use a lot of horses in the second and third spot. Corruption, as Chase pointed out, won 5 of the last 7, grade 3 place. He was 4th in the Manhattan. And honestly, he wasn't able to get towards the lead that day. I thought he still ran pretty well without getting his trip. Look at the horses who he was behind. Deterministic, who comes out of that to win a grade 1. Far Bridge, who comes out of that to win a graded stakes. And Integration, who was in there, has been runner-up in grade 1s all year long at the highest level. So I do think he's the quickest. I kind of think the intention's there for him too. Like, of all the other horses, he's the one who seems like they probably need the lead the most. It's the best for them. He's drawn towards the outside. I think Mercante wants to sit off a little bit with more of a target. And I'm not sure if anybody's going to be pushing this guy early on. So I like Corruption. I put him on top. Horses I use in the next spot are Mercante, 5. But the 8, Old Crazy Bone, actually ran really well at Ellis Park and can sit a little bit closer if need be. So I wanted to use that one. Through the 11, Fort Washington in. And then after that, in the third spot, a lot of horses, in the third spot here, I would throw a bunch in with the 10. I mean, Barry mentioned a horse, Utah Beach, who absolutely would be in the mix. Horses like Grand Sonata, who's run well there. Anglophile has, coming off of a pretty good effort. Fort Washington, any of those, as many as you can afford in your third spot. My try was only $15 based on just using the 10 on top and then 3 in the second spot. But this was last year's winner, Grand Sonata, Chase. And while he may not have he just lost to Fort Washington, so he may not have a higher ceiling, but he's better at this trip than Fort Washington is, who's never been this long.
It's it's interesting because Barry boomed the dynamite on this show last year with Grand Sonata in that Kentucky Downs start. Do you remember that, buddy? You brought like
sure do. Still spending that money.
Yeah.
This is the second boom the dynamite horse because you had Spirit of St. Louis in your pick 3 at Gulfstream earlier this year. Yeah, Pegasus.
Yes,
we were there that day. Yep.
All right, guys, it's gotten to the point where we have actually held back our most tastiest morsels to give to you to get out of the door in the last race. That's right. It's time for bailout bets.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
So, Barry, since Gino just had his try, why don't you tell us who you're bailing out with here in race 12?
Race 12, we're going with number 9, Prodigious. Nice little first start there on August 2nd up at Saratoga. Didn't really do much running. Getting sort of a makeover package. And Miguel Comat just doing his thing. He's doing a great job with the horses that unfortunately have been passed on to him. But getting blinkers on seems to be something he's pretty decent with. And this horse is getting that. Not much else going on in this race, to be honest with you. It's kind of a crapshoot. The better horses seem to be towards the outside, so we'll see. But we're going with number 9.
Absolutely a horse I'd want to be alive to in exotics. Like if you're playing pick 4s, pick 5s and stuff, I have a different win bet, but this horse I had second, and I had 4, 9, and 11 all over the place. When I was thinking Get Out and Chase asked me for a Get Out play, I was thinking the movie Get Out first, which is fantastic. Yeah. But then I was thinking the song by the great JoJo, Get Out Right Now. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I can't wait because it's too late and you can't go on. And I know I'm without her and I don't, that was JoJo. Everybody knows JoJo, right?
Yeah. So, JoJo's a mess. She's from Massachusetts.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a jam. That was an absolute jam. So thank you, Chase, for getting that song stuck in my head and then making me watch Get Out last night just because you sent me a text asking for a Get Out play. That's how my brain works. Nonetheless, I'm getting hungry. I'm going to get a piece of bread over here, and then I need some butter because she's on a roll. That's the number 4. That's where I'm going with the number 4. She's on a roll. That's going to be my play. I think she is faster than everybody else because at first glance, you'd probably look down and you see the 2 and the 3, Orbit and Spun Legacy. I don't think they're even close to as quick as she is. They showed speed going longer in route races. Then go and look at She's on a Roll. Look at the fractions that she's been running and look at the horses that she's faced in those races. Obliteration in career debut. Curtain Call was second. The third place finisher was all next out winners. Second start, she comes back. She loses to Ewing, who comes out of that race to win a graded stakes next time out. And that's the horse for West Point and same connections of Sandman that we saw. And that was, a horse who's had really good success early on. Then in the third start, lost to a very fast horse named Zeus's Echo. Look how fast they were going in that race at Ellis Park. They went 43-1, 21 flat, basically. This gal can fly. I think she can get loose early on. If she doesn't, Barry's got the right horse with the 9. So I want to make sure I have both of these horses in, late exotics closing. This horse is really quick.
Chase.
I think you might be muted. Or are you muted or froze?
Yeah, Rosie was barking earlier.
There we go.
Was it real satisfying, Barry, telling me that I was muted?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it's like gotcha. Yeah.
So what I like about your pick, Gino, is the Victor Espinoza of it all, because I'm as someone with a bad back, I'm a firm believer that if you get someone with a bad back on a plane to go anywhere, the horse is live.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
That spinal will do you wrong every time. So
what's the other one for you? Is it Friday? My neck, my back, my neck and my back. I think that's Friday, right? Yeah.
I'll settle for 40 in a box of envelopes.
Yep.
All right, race 12, my bailout. I'm going with I like to fade first-time starters on the rail, but learn your track configurations, because where they put the gates here, it's not like this one is right there on the rail. It's got a little space to maybe break in a little bit. I'm going with the number 1 Princeton at 12-1. You got some turfy pedigree on the bottom line with the Damn Holiday Jewel by Harlan's Holiday, who had 2 career wins on the turf. And there's a half sibling by More Than Ready as a multiple winner on turf, including the first turf start in the career. And with the sire Daredevil, you don't see a ton of turf pedigree, but if you look at his top 20 progeny, horses like She Dares the Devil, Swiss Skydiver, you see a lot of horses that seem to love this distance from 8.5 furlongs and shorter. So turf on the bottom line, distance on the top line, and some of my favorite Arkansas connections with Shortleaf Stable. Though this one is a Kentucky bred, not an Arky bred like I just got scrawled in my arm in the tattoo chair. But yeah, that's my play. The 12 Princeton. To the guys, this has been a marathon. I feel like I turn on the fan and I'm still sweating, but I also am a chronically sweaty American. So
and I'm Italian too. I run really hot, so I know.
Yeah,
I know about that.
Yeah. Hey, I haven't
for
sweat
Gino,
since I was in like 3rd grade.
Go. Well, guests lead it off. We're going to recap some picks here. Barry, how do you feel about recapping picks?
I think we should.
Is mandatory. Gino, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to be all towards the late part of the card here. So 7th race, trifecta. We're going to build that trifecta around Goliath and Brilliant Birdie. Hope we can get one of them in the win end. And then we've got some prices in the under spots. Races 8 and 9 will go for some win wagers back to back. Race 8, taking a big swing with Plensa, who's 30-1 on the morning line. Race number 9, we're taking a shot with the number 7 Pondering, who's really perked back up as a turf sprinter lately. We get to the 10th race. That's going to be the dollar trifecta that we're looking at in race number 10. Franklin Simpson. I'm going to be keying in on 2 horses in that particular race, the 5 and the 8 in the top spot. So we'll see if we can get either Antisocial or Spiced Up, and then some prices underneath. Race number 11, it'll be all about corruption for me, because, I mean, honestly, you can pay me and sway me to say anything. I'm corruptible. So corruption on top for me. And then we'll close it out with the Get Out play. Get Out. I'm just singing JoJo right now. Number 4 in the last race. It's too late and I can't wait for Chase and Barry. There you go.
Right, so I really want you to add this into your repertoire, which is like you see on anytime on like, you know, American Idol or anything, is when the people make their hand like mimic like how high or low the note is.
But yeah, like you're getting real low in the stomach, right? I'm getting right. Yeah.
Also,
classically trained, guys. You got to remember that.
Another side note: Franklin Simpson, really close to Samson Simpson.
That is very true.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Samson and Sheila, Mama Phil. All right. Barry, go ahead. Oh, turnabout's fair play. He's trying to figure out. He knows. There he goes. There it is. Oh, yeah, he went back.
I'm not on mute. It's just the thing just.
No, you're right. I was being unfair there.
I was trying to talk, but I don't know what happened. But yeah, we got a $5 daily double race 3. Number 4, State of Joy. Number 6, Classy and Connected. Number 8, Gray Lee. With in race 4, number 7, She's Got Will. And number 9, Love Severe. Race 5, a $10 daily double. Number 5, Playa Azul. And number 8, Crimsonite. With number 8, Miwa in race 6. Race 7, $20 win bet on number 9, Point Linus. Race 8, $15 win bet on number 2, Native Runner. Race 11, $15 win bet on number 7, Utah Beach. And the bailout, number 9, Prodigious to the Hoop, because I love Duncan.
Because he loves Duncan. All right, here we go. These are my bets for Saturday, Kentucky Downs, my $100 budget. We start off race 6. We're going to play a $15 win on the number 3, the South African horse Beach Bomb. And then we're going to press that with a $5 exact, a 3 over the 411. Race 7, we're going to go with a $25 win on the 2 Major Dude for Todd Pletcher. Then we roll it into race 10. I've got a $15 win on the 2 Troubleshooting. And then I'm playing an exact, the 5 with the 279. And then what's cooler than being cool, ice cold, because I go race 11, $15 win on number 10, Corruption, and a $10 exacta, ice cold, 10-5 Corruption over Mercanti. Guys, that's it. We've done the damn thing. We've Kentucky down. Our system of the Kentucky Downs has been effective here.
Very well played. Trust in my. Yeah.
Thank you. Low hanging fruit.
Suicide. Yeah. Now I'm rocking out to System of a Down. And thanks for letting me come aboard. Thanks for letting me pump some DRF stuff too. We have some of those new products, everyone. And if you're hanging out tonight, I think me and David are going to have a drink and do a stream. We were talking about it last night a little bit. Aragona. We're going to just pull up the PPs and look at Del Mar for Saturday and answer some questions. So if anybody wants to handicap some of those Del Mar Standard Day races, or if you have a question, you want to look at a chart or something, 7 Eastern tonight, and it will be the pre-show for the football game. So you come hang out with us for like an hour, and then that'll lead you right on into the first game of the season.
Actually,
is that game on regular TV, or is it?
It's got to be
Amazon.
Tonight, yeah. No, I think tonight's on regular, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the first couple are.
Gino, I'm going to get your opinion on this before we leave. I've got a same game parlay, Eagles minus 6.5, under 48.5. $10 will get me 30. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
you like it?
It's just the bad vibes right now in Dallas. But obviously, at this point of the season, a lot of times we see the defense that's more ready early on than the offense in particular. And I think for Philly, it's kind of like a sleepy, like that. Obviously, it's their rival to start, but you're coming off of the Super Bowl. You know, I think they're going to be fine, which is like a workman-like win for them, where they're not having to score 40 points. So yeah, I think it's just going to be probably a boring Thursday night game, unfortunately, for the first game of the season. But I think you're probably on the right sides.
Guys, don't forget, Gino Buccola is trans species whenever it comes to betting on things, and he's always got some good info on the football. It's you and Eric are the 2 people that I'm like, God damn, you guys are good at this compared to me. Me and Jim betting off of vibes, like
when it comes to college, I will always tip my hand to you because you know way, way more than me when it comes to college football, college basketball as well.
Yeah, it only took me failing out of college like 3 times to get that expertise. Guys, that's going to do it for us here at the Notorious OTB. This is our biggest Thursday big show in a bit, and it was a hell of a fun time. So, Gino, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Barry, you got any parting words for the people?
No fast food.
No fast food. Well, we'll be back tomorrow with our most consequential show of the week. When we make our best bets and we put them on our mamas.
Can I make my phone call? Do I have rights? Can I make my phone call?